Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tim Dillon Show. I was coming down my elevator this morning and I opened it and there was like an autistic kid or like a young, maybe in his teens, late teens. And he was in the elevator and he was going, press 4, press 4. And the guy, and I was like terrified because the elevator opened and he was just sweating and screaming, press 4, like as loud as I'd ever heard. And there was like a Saudi next to him, like a skinny Saudi, like one of the 19 hijack. They just all look alike. He didn't do it, but they just a skinny Saudi. Think any of them, Muhammad Atta, whatever. And not that they're all, but you know what I mean. It's that aesthetic in the elevator next to this kid. And then I'm like, all right, I'll wait for another one. And then the Saudi walks out. He goes, I'll wait for another one too. And I'm like, what the fuck happened? He goes, I don't know who this guy is. I just walked in the elevator and he started screaming, press 4, press 4. He started hitting the call button and screaming at security. So like the mental, it's crazy what's going on out there. And then I was eating lunch in a grocery store and a guy just came up to me, I swear to God, out of nowhere. And he was going up to everyone in the store and he's going, a guy I met told me, he goes, you know what I do? I provide drugs to the Rolling Stones. And I said, no way. And then he got Keith Richards on the phone and I played him Satisfaction and he liked it. So, and then he goes, so what? He's a drug dealer. You never know. And I go, okay. And he's going up to everyone in the store and telling them that exact story over and over, word for word, no variation. Just going up to like the next person who's like getting a tomato and going, I met a guy and you know what he said he did? He sold drugs. He provides drugs to the Rolling Stones. I said, no way. Get Keith Richards on the phone. And you know what he did? And then I played him Satisfaction and he liked it. So he's a drug dealer, but you never know. And then there'd be like a woman ladling soup into a thing. And he goes, a guy I met came up to me and he said, I provide drugs to the Rolling. And everybody is just kind of like nodding like, yes. And it just, the level of mental illness in the country now is so obvious. Like it's glaring. It's in your face. If you're not recognizing it, you're not paying attention. It's so out in front. I mean, so many of the people that you come across on a day-to-day basis have lost it. They're no longer playing the game you're playing in reality. They're somewhere else. Nervous breakdowns, psychic breaks, trauma-induced schizophrenia. I don't know, but people are wandering around the world right now, so much so that it's not shocking anymore. Like, you're like, yep, that guy's, it used to be like, ooh, that guy's not. Now you're just like, yep, it's the guy that talks about the Rolling Stones at lunch every day. There's nothing anyone can do, and, And the thing is, he's not like frothing at the mouth, put him in the home crazy. He's just like, kind of like, we can tolerate it. Fine. He tells a nice little story over and over again. Crazy. The elevator guy, the kid in the elevator was a little too nuts. And to where even the Saudi guy walked out, he goes, I'll take the next one. He goes, yeah, he just came in and started screaming. He was sweating at this wiry hair and he screamed, press 4, press 4, 4. And I was just like, I pay a lot of money to live in this building. But this is what happens, right? I mean, this is, a friend of mine has a job as like a companion and it's kind of a sober companion. But what he also does is very wealthy families will pay him to spend time with their children, and their children could have debilitating addiction. They could have severe autism, and, his job is to, and I feel for all of those people in all of those situations, you know what I mean? Like, but his job is to like walk them around Central Park or like hang out, like try to make things better for them. Cause it is very difficult. But it was just very jarring when the elevator doors open. He's got press 4. And I don't know. I also get mad because I think what happened was he was trying to go to 4 and somehow we ended up on my floor. And I also, I've had that happen to me, but you could tell something wasn't right with him. Like he's like spitting as he talked and sweating. He's like, press 4. And I was just like, oh my God. And his clothes were weird. It's just a strange. He looked like the guy. Get Up Recess. Get Up the bully on the show Recess. It was a cartoon that I used to watch.
Randall?
Yeah, Randall.
Name?
So go right. Okay, so he looked exactly like Randall from Recess, the guy in the elevator going, press 4, I told you, press 4. I just kept saying, press 4. So it was a little traumatic. It was an interesting day just noticing how many people are just not with it. They're off, and there's nothing to be done. And as long as they're not trying to kill you, you just have to let it go, which is what you should. You know, you go, hey, but it is something you can notice, you know? We were talking the other day about Hollywood on this show, and we had mentioned the Batgirl movie that had gotten shelved, meaning they're not releasing it. And there's a lot of people that were confused about that. And they were thinking, was that a marketing ploy? Were they, trying to say like, hey, they thought maybe there'd be an outpouring of like, no, we really want to see Batgirl. For whatever reason, they're not releasing it. And, there's this idea that everyone in Hollywood's like a lunatic, but that's only true of certain people. And there are certain people that are actually good. And they're actually people that are trying to do the right thing. And they are good. They're a good example. They're like an example for people. And one of them, and again, this is a non-binary person. So I'm going to try to do this the right way and use all the right things because I believe in you. But it's hard and difficult to always remember. So don't come for me if I say the wrong thing. But this is about an actor who is actually a very, this is someone you want to, if you're a child, you want to kind of emulate this guy who's not a guy. Already it's hard. Literally already, it's this person, this entity, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is a non-binary actor who is a great role model for children. And there you see them there. Nothing awkward about saying that. You see them there. Good. Seems good. English, everyone. You see them there with a skull necklace and a fur coat. Now, Ezra Miller has been having problems.
Yes.
With the studio who is releasing the movie The Flash. The studio is called Warner Brothers. And there is a movie coming out called The Flash. It is a superhero movie. Of course it is. Because we will refuse to make any movies anymore unless they are about superheroes or slaves. Those are the two genres of film that we are interested in making. You're either being beaten and whipped in a field or you're flying through the air trying to save someone. Those are the only two representations of any person you will see in cinema at the current moment. Ezra Miller was in this called The Flash. Now, what's going on with Ezra Miller? There's issues, there's problems, right?
A long timeline of legal troubles here.
He's had,
I'm sorry.
Just because he choked someone and kidnapped someone does not mean that we can get all loosey-goosey here with the terms. Ezra Miller, early in the pandemic, video leaked of Miller choking a woman outside I don't even want to pronounce it, but in Reykjavik, Iceland. It's a bar. In the clip, which seems to pick up mid-confrontation, a smiling woman approaches Miller and appears to start a play fight. Well, is this going to be one of those things where I have to side with them? Miller takes her motion seriously and says, okay, you want to fight? That's what you want to do? Before grabbing the woman by the neck, pushing her against the dumpster, throwing her to the ground, at which point the video cuts out. Seems excessive. Hey, Ezra. At the time, Variety confirmed Miller's identity with the bar, which said Miller frequented the location when they were in town. So he choked a woman.
Yes.
Not great.
Not good.
Not great PR for the Flash. On January 27th, 2022, Miller began their fateful year by posting a video to social media threatening a North Carolina faction of the Ku Klux Klan. This is a message for the Beulaville chapter of the North Carolina KKK. The actor says in the clip, look, if y'all want to die, I suggest killing yourselves with your own guns, okay? Otherwise, keep doing exactly what you're doing right now, and you know what I'm talking about, then you know we'll do it for you if that's what you really want. It's unclear what prompted Miller's threat to the hate group. He has no known ties to the North Carolina city. See, that's what makes me laugh, is it's not just the KKK in general. It's a specific North Carolina, almost like he has a problem with a person in that specific faction of the North Carolina chapter of the Ku Klux Klan.
In Beulaville.
Like, listen, guys, we are going to figure out what's going on with the Beulaville KKK. March 28, 2022, Hawaii arrest number one. Miller spent their spring in Hawaii. By all accounts, they were a menace to everyone around them. On March 28th, the actor was visiting a local karaoke bar when they grew agitated and began, quote, yelling obscenities, and at one point grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman singing karaoke. Later, Miller lunged at a 32-year-old man and failed to calm down after being asked several times by the bar owner. Miller's interactions with the two bar patrons earned them and by the way, I can't get anything made because I sat next to Alex Jones on a podcast. Just to give you an idea, this person this is all okay. Who does he have photos of? When did Ezra Miller come out as non-binary?
I think a few years back.
Okay, right. Well, it's clearly helped their behavior. So Miller then posts $500 bail. They let him out.
Yeah.
Miller argues that they, in fact, were the victim of assault, claiming a self-identifying Nazi in the bar attacked him. There's always Nazis everywhere popping up. A Nazi in the